Bill O'Reilly from BillO'Reilly.com and a friend of the program. Bill, I want to ask you quickly your thoughts. Have you ever met Ruth Ginsburg?
No, but I knew Anton Scalia a little bit, and he liked her.
He liked her a lot.
Which was kind of perplexing to me because, Justice Ginsburg made no, she's not a phony. I mean, she basically said, look, I'm ruling on my political beliefs and the Constitution be damned, and that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, she said at one point she was using at one point,
but it didn't.
Yeah, at one point she said she was using the South African Constitution to make decisions. But I enjoyed their friendship. It showed that two people that opposed to each other can still be friends, and I thought that was good.
Yeah, and it's a good example.
Yeah.
But what you didn't report is that while Justice Ginsburg said she was going to use the South African Constitution, she was also listening to the Paul Simon record recorded down there, and you can call me Al.
So, Bill, let's start with Broward County and Palm Beach County.
Totally ignores me. I can't believe it. Is that allowed?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Okay.
It is. Let's talk about voter fraud. Do you believe voter fraud is happening? How does this play out? What should the government do?
Complicated issue because, Broward County is a problem, always has been historically, very, very locked up Democrat. And then all of a sudden we're getting a torrent of votes out of Broward County, as Trump just pointed out about 10 minutes ago in a little press conference he had before he got on the plane to go to Paris. And you got Arizona, too. These ballots are coming and going, and look, we have a Federal Elections Commission, we have the FBI, and I think you got to hand over all the stuff to it and let the federal oversight kick in.
Well, unfortunately, they've done a number on the FBI, so we don't really have the FBI that is, got a lot of confidence with people.
I still think that they're competent in doing things like that. I mean, they came up real fast catching the bomber, and look, if there's any whiff, then the FBI has got to go down, take it away from the state people right away. Does that make sense?
You have Dr. Brenda Snipes, who is the election commissioner. It's her job to do this. In 2016, she got into trouble for throwing away ballots. The judge said she violated federal and state laws on the ballots. But Broward County didn't do anything about it. I mean,
no, because it's I don't know whether you know that area. I know it pretty well. And it's just locked tight.
Well, it is. I know
by Democrats top to bottom.
It is the county with Stoneman Douglas in it, and we know that they didn't do anything for the people on the school board who were obviously, had hinky things going on with the shooting. The sheriff Scott Israel, he's still the sheriff today. How can you expect anything not to be corrupt? I mean, if I'm working in the ballot, and I tend to be a corrupt person, and I see what just happened, and nobody did anything to Scott Israel, nobody really did anything except blame the right, what makes you think that anybody's going to say anything about you if you fix the ballot?
Well, look, speculation is not really useful here. I think that we have a new attorney general, acting attorney general. Trump mentioned it before he got on his plane today, and I believe that the FBI will be down there very quickly in Broward County, Florida. Tell
me about the new attorney general, because that also now is something that the Democrats are saying, we don't accept him. He's this is probably an impeachable offense, yada, yada, yada. Tell me about him and what you think about Jeff Sessions leaving.
Beck, I got to tell you, I just don't even bother with the partisan gibberish anymore. I really don't. I'm so busy with really important stories and trying to accumulate facts that when these people say this stupid stuff, look, Whitaker is a guy who was entrenched in the Justice Department under Sessions. He knows what's happening, so he would be the logical guy that anybody would appoint, correct?
Yes.
So you just the apparatus in the Justice Department continues to roll because you put a guy in who knows what's happening, and then a few months from now, you nominate who you believe should be the new Attorney General. So it makes perfect sense. Now, Whitaker is on record as saying that he didn't believe the Hillary Clinton investigation was conducted properly. I believe that will be proven beyond a reasonable doubt by the Inspector General's report that's going to come out soon. He's also, skeptical about power given to Robert Mueller and other special prosecutors, as anybody should be. All right, so I don't see any problem with him, number one.
Well, hang on just a sec. Wait. Remember that Joe Manchin, who, was supposed to be this guy who was going to, kind of, he was going to come from both sides. He's the guy who came out yesterday and was talking about impeachment for the president because of this. Yeah,
somebody teed him off in the Trump administration. That's all personal.
Okay.
Somebody did something. So Manchin is really, now that he won, it's scorched earth.
Yeah.
Sessions looked befuddled in the job from day one.
Mm-hmm.
I said on many different issues. Where's the Attorney General? Why isn't he taking a more aggressive posture, i.e. sanctuary cities?
Mm-hmm.
All of that. He just, when you're a senator or a congressperson, part of your job, and sometimes all of your job, is being diplomatic and trying to raise money and trying to backslap and schmoozerama and all this. That's not what Elliot Ness should be doing. He's supposed to kick doors down and get bad guys. That's the kind of attorney general I would like.
Any speculation?
That's why I like Bobby Kennedy as an attorney general. That guy, no prisoners, man.
No, he was great. He went
after you. So Jeff Sessions was, I just don't know. I might, maybe. Come on.
So who do you think it might be? Chris Christie is speculation. Lindsey Graham.
And as soon as I said it, everybody said it. I said on BillO'Reilly.com on Wednesday it's going to be Chris Christie, and then Thursday everybody said it. Because Christie is owed. Trump owes him. And Trump even said it today in his little impromptu press conference. So that's, if you're going to place a bet, that's who you place your bet on.
How do you feel about that?
I don't know. Christie, tough guy.
Yeah, I know.
Tough guy.
I know, right? Yeah. I don't know if I want my chief.
Didn't really run the state of New Jersey that well.
Yeah.
Justice Department, big thing.
Mm-hmm. I don't like. I feel the same way about Rudy Giuliani, and I like Rudy Giuliani. But, I don't want a guy who you're like, hey, how come Bill's not in this meeting? Shh, don't ask that question. Don't ever ask about Bill again. Giuliani did a real good job with law enforcement in New York City, though. Keep that in mind. No,
I don't think he's going to in play.
No.
I don't think he's going to get it.
No.
But boy, oh boy, did he clean up New York City.
All right, let me go to I've got so much to talk to you about. We're going to take a break. I'm going to talk to you about Tucker Carlson, Acosta, the shooting at Thousand Oaks, and so much more when we come back with Bill O'Reilly, the author of the New York Times best-selling book, Killing the SS, a great book available everywhere, Killing the SS. Back with Bill O'Reilly in a second.
Glenn Beck.
Welcome back to the program. It is Friday, and Bill O'Reilly from BillO'Reilly.com joins us. Let me take you to what happened in front of Tucker Carlson's house. Can we play the audio, please? This is what we believe to be Antifa surrounding his house at night, scaring the life out of his wife. Here we go.
We want you to know we know where you sleep at night.
Mailbox.
We know where you sleep at night.
We know where you sleep at night.
Bill O'Reilly, who has had his share of threats as well. Nothing like this that I know of, Bill. How do you respond to this?
No, I had some intrusions. I didn't make them public because of children.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to have actual armed guards sleep inside my house.
I've had that too. Is there anything worse on your family than having to have? I've had armed guards sleeping at the doors of our bedrooms.
One of the reasons that I don't regret leaving Fox News is because I don't have to deal with that anymore, and I had to deal with it every day of my life for 16 years once we became number one. The first 4, when we were coming up, I didn't have to deal with it that much, but once we became successful, then the threats came every direction.
Yeah.
Every direction, every day. I recommended on my website that Tucker Carlson file charges and also still sue civilly, and that's the only way it's going to stop.
I found it interesting that Antifa, that has been accused of being the group here, Antifa, their Twitter feed was suspended. They're not permanently banned. They were suspended by Twitter.
Well, look, whoever did it deserves to be punished, and I didn't hear anybody condone it. Even the far-left loons aren't condoning it. I will tell you that this is exactly what happened in the late 1920s, 1930s in Germany. Exactly. There's no difference.
Also happened in 1919 here in America, and in the mid-30s here in America as well.
But not to the extent.
No, the fear paralyzed them. Yeah.
Beck, if these people aren't punished, then this is going to escalate to where, as you said, somebody's going to get killed or badly hurt.
We're headed to 1968. Let me play that audio again. Just real quick, play the beginning of that audio, please.
We want you to know we know where you sleep at night.
Stop. That individual, Tucker Carlson said, was on his show recently, and he said he recognized the voice. I had 2 people tell me last night that they also recognized the voice. This is before Tucker said anything. And they said, this guy was just on Tucker's show. Yeah. You can take that audio and they can voice print that. We will find out who that guy was if he's in the public eye.
Yeah, and if the D.C. police investigate it. But everybody's watching now. The whole country's watching. And, Mr. Carlson himself I would absolutely file a lawsuit against these people for putting my family in danger.
Bill, we talked about this earlier this week, and it kind of goes here. What we saw in the original vote, I don't know how it's going to turn out now, was that the American people turned down the real strident right in Romney counties, and they turned down the crazy left all across the country, which told me that we have a big portion of America that is just not interested in this kind of fight. Do you agree with that?
I think they fear these people, these kinds of real committed zealots who will stop at nothing to advance their political agenda. I think they're feared by independent Americans who say this isn't our country, this is not what we want. And there's an article today in the Wall Street Journal that Elizabeth Warren is finished. I believe that to be true. I don't think the Democratic Party can go with Bernie Sanders or any of these far, far left people. They got to go moderate.
So let's talk about that. I also want to talk to you about Acosta and the shooting in Thousand Oaks, California. And I kind of like to tie that to, again, Germany and your book, Killing the SS, when we come back.
Glenn Beck, Mercury. You're listening to the Glenn Beck Program.
We're with Bill O'Reilly. I've got 3 topics I need to cover here in the next 10 minutes, so we want to move quickly. But, Bill, first of all, let me ask you about Elizabeth Warren. You said you thought she was done because she was too far left. Would you include Cory Booker and Spartacus in that, and Bernie Sanders?
Yeah, and Gillibrand and the Senator Kamala Harris from California, that whole crew. that's trying to sell, socialized medicine, high corporate taxation, high personal taxation. They just can't win.
What do you think? What do you think about Michelle Obama starting to move in? She's just doing a lot of things that just seem presidential.
Yeah, but Jack, you know why she's doing that. She wants to displace Killing the SS as the number one book in the country. Her book comes out next week.
I know that, but do you think she's a possibility of a candidate?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. Let me
She
go.
doesn't have the heart for that.
Let me go to Jim Acosta.
Yeah.
Let's start at the beginning. Your thoughts.
All right. I wrote a column on BillO'Reilly.com, which gets into it, and I don't have time on the Beck program. He has far more important guests than me to really get into the micro of it. But if you want to know, BillO'Reilly.com has that column. Acosta's job, Beck, as you know, is to get information to the people that watch CNN. So on a presidential press conference, his job is to ask questions.
Mm-hmm.
Not what he does. He makes statements, and then he tries to provoke a response. Not get a response that would be helpful to CNN viewers and it would up their information flow. No. He basically says, you call the caravan an invasion. We know that's not true. You know that's not true. I mean, and you're looking at it going, all right, so you just attacked the president of the United States and insinuated he's a liar or that he's incompetent, doesn't know what an invasion is. That's not what a reporter does. Now, if CNN wants to give Acosta a primetime opinion show, good. Their ratings are so low, he couldn't do much worse. But he's a White House correspondent. So that's out of line. And then when the president of the United States, and I've interviewed 5 of them, says, sit down,
you sit down. So it's because the only thing that happens after that is chaos. I mean, what does the president do?
Yeah, and that's what they want.
Correct. That's exactly what they want.
Right.
Here's the problem with the rest of the rest of the press corps. They supported him.
Honest, Beck. We've gone over this.
I know. They supported him, and CNN is the worst offender of this. They should have suspended him or apologized to the
They ordered him to do it.
I know they're not going to do that.
But they ordered him to do it.
Oh, I agree with you.
That's how they make their money.
Correct.
See, look, once Trump was president 2 years ago, once he won, then the media chieftains basically sat down and said, okay, we're embarrassed. We tried to destroy him. He won anyway. Let's make money out of it. So MSNBC under the Comcast banner, CNN under Time Warner, basically told their people, get him. Don't report on him. Get him. And then the Fox people, in response to that, basically sent out a message, we're going to support Trump. So that all the Trump supporters watch Fox and all the Trump haters divide themselves between the other two on cable news.
Okay, I understand that. What I want to ask you is what... Yes. I do not want the president picking and choosing who's going to be in the press corps, but I cannot think of anything because he's already tried not to call on...
There has to be standards.
Right. So what is the president to do other than what he did?
Not the president, but... the White House Communications Office is to issue standards that when the president says sit down and that's the end of the questioning, you sit down and shut up. That's the rule. And if they issue that so everybody knows what the rules are, it'll be a lot easier to enforce the rules. That's what I would do.
Do you think CNN is going to abide by those?
But it doesn't matter because if they don't, then they're vanished.
Okay. Let me move to Thousand Oaks, California. They've got a double whammy happening now. They've got another wildfire in California.
Yeah.
And they had this killer go on a rampage. First of all, before I get into the aftermath of that, any thoughts on that?
My analysis on the shooting in the bar is the same as it was in the synagogue shooting, the church in Charleston, and the high school in Broward County, Florida. The men that have done this have one thing in common. They are isolated from society. They are loners. They live on the internet. They are emotionally disturbed individuals who, in the 1950s and 60s, when you and I grew up, would have been isolated by society. People would have seen their behavior outside. Now you don't have to go outside. Okay? You can live on this machine and talk to other people as screwed up as you are. And then finally, when you look around and see your life means nothing and you don't believe in anything, you have no relationships with anybody, then you say, I want to end it, but I'm going to take people with me. All right? And that's what happens. It's the same scenario over and over and over.
There is a really powerful video that is out of this mother whose son was not killed in Vegas, but was there, survived, and then was killed here. And you can understand what she's saying because, you know, her son was just killed. And she's saying, I want gun control. Now, it's not appropriate to talk to the mom about this at this point, but California has the strictest gun control in the nation.
What they're really saying is we want gun ban, not gun control, because gun control is already established legally. It's already there. They want ban of guns. Okay, so anybody possessing a gun, you have to give it up or we arrest you. That's what the left wants. Okay, they want to disarm the entire population, particularly with handguns and AKs, things like that. That's where they're going with this. So gun control is impossible. Mm-hmm. Criminals will always get guns. They don't abide by the law anyway.
And what
they want is a complete, total ban. And when you hear that, that's what they're talking about.
Right, and the ban will work out even worse because
it leaves people defenseless.
Yes.
If you're in a rural part of America, I mean, they would let you have a rifle. They wouldn't take hunting rifles away. But if you want to protect yourself with a handgun in a dangerous neighborhood, they would absolutely take your right away if they could.
Let me go to two pieces of audio here. I want your comments. First is Chris Cuomo last night, and then it's followed by Chris Matthews. Listen.
The only consensus there is in a canard, and here it is. First, I would like to offer my thoughts and prayers, because that's what you do when you offer thoughts and prayers. You mock those who lost loved ones, because if you gave it any thought at all, you would never walk away from any of these without figuring out a better way to deal with them.
Okay, stop now. Let me... talking about mock. Now let me play Chris Matthews.
And what do we do?
And they do it because somebody's a nut, or this guy, a nut has a gun with a nut with a gun, whatever it is, somebody with an attitude, a bad life experience, whatever it is. The easiness with which you get a semi-automatic Glock, which is beep, 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 beep. It doesn't take any intelligence or skill or talent. They use one of these guns to just kill people in their face. And they're doing it now with some rapidity in this country.
So, you're right. The moments of silence are about all that Congress has the guts to do, and it's not good enough.
You mean thoughts and prayers?
Yes,
I'm
thoughts
sorry,
and prayers.
That should be outlawed. I know it's well-intended in some cases, but
no,
usually it's a throwaway line by a staffer who knocks off some script.
Bill O'Reilly mocking thoughts and prayers and then calling for it to be outlawed.
Look, Cuomo and Matthews play to a crew, all right? That's the only people who watch them. You don't get discretionary viewing with Chris Cuomo and Chris Matthews. The crew is largely secular, doesn't really believe in religion to any meaningful extent. And I'm generalizing now, of course.
Yeah.
All right? So prayers and thoughts to that crew, that's like a waste of time. And then the overall message that they send is what I just told you. Both of these individuals want gun bans. They won't say that because that becomes an extreme position. They can get in a lot of trouble, so they'll never – but they'll code it. They speak in code. The cliche is dog whistles, that ridiculous phrase. But if you will look and step back and see what really drives this mass murder. It's how we are living in America. It's how we are living. But we're a free society, and there's no solution to that. So you can live the way you want to live unless you break the law. And what happens is these people, they get so isolated, so desperate, so hopeless, they decide, I'm leaving the planet, and I'm taking people with me. And that's it. And you're not going to stop that no matter what you do. I'm sorry, but it's impossible to stop it.
Bill, any thoughts on, you just finished all your research with the SS. We are silencing voices. We are, talking about, banning guns. We're talking about banning speech, intimidation. You have Antifa on the street, which is, our American version now of the brown shirts. Any thoughts to leave us with?
Well, I don't think that what happened in Nazi Germany can happen here. We have too much structure to prevent that. I do believe that we are heading the United States into a period of time where hatred is overwhelming the public discourse, and that did happen in Germany, and that led to power being distributed to the Nazis, who then used the power to exterminate people. That was the SS, was the arm of that. Okay, that's not going to happen here. But the hatred is going to cause people to be harmed. It is. And we commentators, you, me, and the other sane people with radio and television exposure have to keep pointing that out. And look, we got to tamp the hatred down, and we've got to recognize evil, and all of us have to collectively fight evil, which is the theme of Killing the SS. And that is our responsibility to do that, not ridiculously inflame the hatred, which is what you're seeing now in much of the media.
Bill O'Reilly, have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next week, my friend. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Bye.